You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hello and welcome into this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern time, we're here. But here's the thing is we're here and now we are public for today. You know, which is great. It's great to be back live publicly on the air. Now, if you're part of the closed mastermind group, you can still ask questions through the chat for any questions you have here today. But if you're just tuning in publicly, whether that be Facebook, YouTube, on the Tampa School of Real Estate.com website, or wherever that may be, welcome in today, where what we're talking about is mapping out your first year in real estate. And so we are live right now. We are 100% live, and if you go to tsre.us/live, that's tsre.us/live. You can see that right at the bottom of the screen right there, especially if you're on Instagram, because Instagram, you can't see the sides. You can't see what my hands are doing right now. How many fingers am I holding up? Everybody else will know, but not on Instagram. So go ahead and head over to tsre.us/live, because you can also participate in the actual official live chat there. I've got that pulled up right on my screen, and we can make this as interactive as you want it to be, as many questions as you want to ask as it relates to your career and your real estate future. Again, tsre.us/live. So welcome in today. And what we're going to be really focusing on is more so reverse engineering what you want that first year in real estate to look like. So with every aspiring real estate agent, whatever point of your career you may be in, you're all a little bit different, and you might all be on a different timeline. And what might be a big thing for one person might not be a great thing for the other. So we need to begin with the end in mind. And in order to begin with the end in mind, we need to clearly define, ultimately, what is the goal that we're after. What is that first year of real estate looking like here? It's probably not just wanting to pass the real estate exam. That's very unlikely going to be anybody's end-all, be-all goal. And look, if you want to share what your goals are publicly, go ahead and put that in the chat. We might even use your goal as an example here. Let's get this a little bit bigger. Go. And ultimately, we want to really try to make this as simple as we possibly can. Because the more complicated we make this goal, the more difficult it can be. And the one thing that almost universally allows us to measure all these different things and really compare them side by side is money. Now, if there are deeper things that relate to what you want to do with that money, going on trips, buying new car, new house, putting your kids through school, setting aside money, whatever it might be, becoming a real estate investor, the great thing about all of those different things is they'll all require some sort of monetary amount, some sort of money amount. And you could simplify that down to what you want that to be. And this is ultimately what drives everything in this world. You know, you go to sign up for a course to get your real estate license, to renew your real estate license, paying a fee to the state, whatever it might be, and you're asked to pay money. And why would you do that? Well, because of what you could turn that $1 sign into. By leveraging information, by leveraging your professional real estate license, by leveraging your connections, by leveraging your contacts. So, look, whether they're past coworkers, whether they're family, whether they're friends, whether they're contacts yet to be made. Maybe you're an extroverted person, maybe you're an introverted person, and there's other areas of real estate where you can focus your efforts on. But you could take your specialization, you could take your skills, you could take whatever it is that makes you unique and gives you the ability to provide value to your clients and use that investment in getting the real estate license and starting a real estate business to be able to achieve that goal it is that you're ultimately after. Now, when we put this down to a year, look, we offer a 1-year retake guarantee. So the thing is, if you were to sign up for a class today, whether that be to get your license or for your post-licensing renewal, you have ultimately 1 year to get that course done if it's one of the on-demand. And if you take one of our live classes, you have a 1-year retake guarantee. Now, our pass rates are above 90%, 95%, depending on the program it is that you're enrolling in. So very unlikely that you'll need to take advantage of that retake guarantee, but it definitely gives you some good peace of mind that removes a big distraction because you don't have to further invest money if you're not able to succeed in passing that end course exam there. So that's where our retake guarantee comes in, again, to help you through this process here, because if you commit to us to going through and getting this done, look, it's not going to even take you a year. We have live classes on the regular that are 7 days long. Now, they're all-day classes. They are long days because this is a 63-hour course, and it is a slightly shortened version of actual hours, but it's close to that 63 hours in time. But the thing is, if you take 63 hours of actual time, I mean, that's less than 3 days. And we've had students complete our video-on-demand program in less than a week. And so whether or not it's possible to go through the course in that amount of time is not the question, because it can. 7 days, if you're committed to an actual live schedule with a live instructor, we have those live online as well as live in-person classes. If you're doing post-licensing, it's only a 4 or 5 day schedule, depending on how long those days are. We also have some evening classes, but those aren't until December. So if you're on the September renewal deadline, I would definitely check out one of our on-demand options. Or if you have the time during the day, we actually do have a live stream the last week of September, right before the renewal deadline, that you can get that done live online. And, you know, maybe that post-licensing, that renewal course, if we look at that course just as a renewal, we're just looking at it as the cost. We're not necessarily looking at the value that you're getting from this program. And it's easy to be confused on what is going to be included and taught in this course, especially after coming out of your pre-licensing to get your real estate license. That pre-licensing course focuses on laws and rules and state exam information. And so going back to the goal here, going back to laying out your first year in real estate, if you don't have your real estate license yet, it's easy to get caught up in the process here and get caught up in your course and completing that and getting caught up in the exam prep and studying for the exam. But that's just your first step in the process. You don't make any money passing the exam. It costs you money to take the state exam. You just get your ticket to be able to start earning money once you actually do have that license, which is as soon as you pass your state exam, you instantly have your license. But now the question is, what do you actually do with it to be able to generate that return on investment, that ROI, return on investment? If you're going to make some sort of investment in yourself, you absolutely want to lay out what are the parameters for you to earn a return on that investment. And, you know, a lot of times if we talk about investments and we think about something like a stock or some sort of something that really is just to kind of, you know, put your money somewhere and then hopefully it grows. You know, maybe you're getting a 5, 10, maybe even 15%, depending on how risky your portfolio may be, returns, which, okay, that's great. But when we're talking about having 1 and getting 3, that's a 3 times multiplier. Maybe you've heard about multipliers like a 10-time multiplier or the whole idea of a 10x. And that's the capability that you unlock when you're able to leverage. So what is leverage? let's talk about leverage, and not in the financial sense here, although that's where you might have heard of leverage before. It's actually a term you will learn in your pre-licensing course. So if you've already taken that, you've already got your real estate license, you're probably familiar with the concept of leverage, at least a little bit. If not, in the financing world, it basically just means borrowing money. But from a physical standpoint, a physics standpoint. Ooh, look at that nice triangle that popped out there for me. So you've probably been on a little teeter-totter before. And on a teeter-totter, it doesn't matter. The one thing that's going to ultimately drive one of these sides up or down is going to be the weight. So if there's more weight sitting on it than the weight sitting on this side right there, equal. And this is like punching a clock. What you put into it is ultimately what you're going to get out of it. And so leverage is the concept of not making this a teeter-totter, but really what we want to do is we want to slide that teeter-totter. And we want to give ourselves a bigger lever. Because the longer your lever is, the easier it'll be to move something very heavy. To accomplish something that seems undoable, or to make an insane amount of money that you didn't think possible. Because if you're operating off of the teeter-totter mindset there, of what you put in is what you get out of it, and you think of that, a lot of people talk about that in the business sense, that, oh yeah, that's why I want to have my own business, so what I put into it is what I get out of it. No, that's not what you want. You don't want to put hours in and get a fixed amount out. You want to build a longer lever. And you could increase the size of your lever by increasing your capabilities. So if you want to increase the size of your lever, so that way you could move more with less effort, you have to increase your capability. The role you may be in right now maybe doesn't give you a lever long enough to be able to leverage that opportunity into something that is prosperous for you. And you could try to push down on your end of the teeter-totter harder, but there's only so far it'll go at a certain point. That's where a lot of people end up. They get all the way down. They're giving it their all, but there's still only so much that comes out of it. And they're hoping that management will slide the fulcrum. That's what this part, the little triangle, is called there in this here. They're hoping that management will slide that fulcrum over for them and basically give them more money for what it is that they're doing there. And maybe they're contributing more value to the company. Which that would make sense why the company would move that fulcrum, why that employee might get a raise. But maybe you are still contributing more value to the company, and maybe the company is unable to move that fulcrum because maybe there's other costs, maybe there's other issues going on in the business, maybe the business isn't growing, whatever the thing may be. A lot of times that fulcrum, that key pivot point, can be outside of your control if you're not in an opportunity that gives you that control. And real estate, being a real estate professional, having a real estate license, allows you to really build your own. You know, that's what you get your real estate license, and that's you getting the lever, the fulcrum there. That's you getting this piece right here. But it's up to you to position this correctly, to position yourself correctly, to be able to be successful, because the last thing you want to do is set yourself up where you're on something like this, where it seems like the deck is stacked against you. If all you got to do is push on this right here because you don't have a long lever, if your lever isn't long enough, you're not going to be able to move this right here. You could jump on it, bounce on it, but if you don't have enough knowledge to strengthen and improve your opportunity, if you don't have the right licensing, if you're not in the right opportunity, you won't be able to position yourself like this to where the effort it is that you put in is going to allow you to move this thing. So hopefully we didn't get too down a rabbit hole in terms of like physics and motion and whatnot, but the concept is alarmingly similar to the effort and exertion that is required based on the opportunity you have. So, do you have a opportunity that looks like that, to where it's going to be a 1-to-1, 1 hour in, 1 hour of payout? Are you going to have a bad opportunity like this one over here, where maybe you're putting in 3 hours and you don't even get 1 hour of work done? That's where, if you feel like you're unproductive, you don't know what to do, you don't know the next steps, this is what happens right here. You might spend 3 hours of working time and only get 1 hour of working time actually completed. And that's when you're not working smart. And so how do you do that as a real estate professional? I thought you get to be your own boss, you get to make your own schedule, you get to be in control. You absolutely are. And you could absolutely set yourself up to be doing the wrong things, unless you, again, get the information it is that's going to help you lay the foundational framework of all this here. And so if you're brand new to everything, if you don't even have a real estate license yet, what I'm going to share with you later today is going to be about our complete Jumpstart bundle that includes the pre-licensing as well as post-licensing. But if you already have your real estate license and you have not yet done your post-licensing, it's putting yourself in this situation right here. Because, and look, you might be like me. When I got started in real estate, I had went to school for marketing. I was already doing sales almost my whole life, but recently, even when I started in real estate, I was still working full-time in a Fortune 500 company with 180,000 employees, being one of the top 5 employees consistently for sales. So I came into this thinking I knew everything about sales, and that because I went to school for marketing, I knew everything about marketing, and that because I had ran some little like businesses before, I was like a little like mobile DJ that DJ'd weddings in high school, and I made some decent money with that, so I thought I could run my own business. There was all these they're just problems, really. They're problems and ultimately shortfalls, shortcomings of myself that I was either too proud to admit or didn't realize I even had. But one of the ones I could really even be very specific on was even going to present, to show a property. And when I was showing properties, I would almost talk people out of it subconsciously. Looking back at it, I could realize I was doing this, not in the moment. I didn't think I was doing this here. But your subconscious can do some wild things and can really influence things one way or the other. You learn about body language, you learn about a lot of different topics in here, and how to really frame yourself for success, how to give yourself a lever long enough to where you could do 1 hour of work and get 3 hours in return. That's how this whole concept here, the levers, the teeter-totters ultimately work. If they're perfectly balanced, 1 hour in gives you 1 hour of pay out. And that's the system that most people get paid through as an employee. Time in, time out. Maybe there's some sort of commission element or bonus element or something like that, and that could help you, again, give you a longer lever. So that's going to be a better opportunity there. And it ultimately is less risk because you have the company that's ultimately handling a lot of the parts of running the business for you. But at the end of the day, if you desire that further control, if you think you could do a better job, if you could think you could do a more efficient job, or maybe you're just fed up with the industry you're working in entirely and you want to try out in real estate allows you, if done correctly, to really build an extremely leveraged version of yourself. And this could start with just yourself. It could be including you hiring assistants, either licensed or unlicensed personal assistants. It could include you building a team. It could even result in you opening your own real estate brokerage. You know, maybe at the end of the day, you don't want to be a realtor your entire life. Maybe you don't want to just be a real estate salesperson going around helping people buy and sell homes. Maybe that's what you're doing to get started, and maybe you venture into investing. Maybe you do start your own real estate brokerage. Maybe you go into high-level real estate coaching because you're that good and you're that inspirational. Whatever it might be that your path may lead you on, this may be the very beginning of it. But there's so many opportunities that exist. We just launched a new website to be able to showcase these opportunities. So if you have, we're actually accepting opportunities now on there. So if you have a company, a brokerage, you're a builder, a property manager, whatever you may be, you can go to recruitsrc.com. Recruit SRC for recruitsource.com, and you can actually get registered on there right now for free and be able to post opportunities to be able to present them to aspiring new real estate agents and real estate professionals. Because putting yourself in that right opportunity is what's going to help you create that leverage. And so when we map out what it is ultimately that we want to earn, what we want to do, you know, let's say it's a $100,000 income for a year. And, you know, you might talk to some people, they might say, oh, you can't do that. Or some people say, well, you can do that if you set your mind to it. So which one really is it? Well, this is possible. It can be done. Is it going to be difficult to do? Absolutely, especially when it's your first year, because the reality is a lot of people will allow sometimes circumstances to take over and derail their plan. And to avoid that, the best thing you could do is have something like this. Have some sort of goal, such as $100,000. Again, some sort of fixed number, something to get you excited. If $100,000 doesn't get you excited, we could make it $200,000. And you know, maybe this isn't what happens in your first year, but if you make it your goal, and you continue to make it your goal, and you continue to improve, it's not going to be a question of if you're able to eventually reach that goal. It's a question of when you reach that goal. Maybe you want to make that $300,000. Maybe you want to make it $1 million. Maybe you want to make it $10 million. Maybe you want to go on to get your own TV show, to have multiple TV shows, as a matter of fact, and to be one of the top real estate agents in the world. You're maybe making tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. So ultimately figuring out what that goal is for you. What's going to excite you? What's going to keep you from getting discouraged when people see you say something like this? And maybe it is $100,000, and for some people this would be wild if they were able to attain something like this in just a single year. And while that may be so wild and incomprehensible for some people, there's people that already make significantly more than this. There's real estate agents that make significantly more than this. So that absolutely is possible. And the people who tell you this can't be done, the people who tell you this can't be done, that you can't do $1 million in a year. There's people making $1 million a year. There's people making 10 million, 100 million. We got Elon Musk, who's on track to be our first trillionaire. Now, granted, he's not a real estate agent. He's building like rocket ships. But you know what? Maybe that's what you save up your commissions for, is you want to go build rocket ships someday. I don't know. Whatever it is that you're trying to do. Maybe you want to go to Mars and go help sell the new real estate on Mars. Get on one of the first spaceships over there with them. Whatever. So having that goal, though, whatever it may be, and look, maybe that is your goal. Maybe you do want to have a 7-figure income. Not a 6-figure income, but a 7-figure income. And maybe that goal would require you to have, let's say, maybe a real estate team. Or maybe even a real estate brokerage. And maybe before you have the brokerage, you have a team. And maybe before you have the team, you have an assistant. And maybe before you hire an assistant, you join a broker. And before you even join a broker, you get licensed. And before you get licensed, you apply with your fingerprints. And before you apply with your fingerprints, unless you're concerned about your criminal background, you enroll in a course. See how that sequence of events could go on there? Now, this is not a system of you do this and 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 you're guaranteed to make $1 million. There's no guarantees being made here. Real estate is very much a business of what you make of it, of what you put into it. Can not just be what you get out of it, but what you get into it can give you exponential returns out of it. But you have to work smarter. Simply enrolling in a course is not going to get you to $1 million a year. Simply applying for the license, even if you have enrolled in the course, is not going to get you to that $1 million a year. Getting the license alone isn't going to get you to $1 million a year. Joining a broker won't. Hiring an assistant won't. Hiring a team won't. Maybe you even have a real estate brokerage and you're still not even doing $1 million a year. And so maybe beyond that, maybe you go and you start a franchise and you have multiple offices. Where you expand from these initial steps is ultimately up to you. You could go into commercial real estate. You could do business brokerage. If you've got a knack for agricultural property, you could actually be a specialist in farm and ranch land. There's 5 different sales specialties that your real estate license is good for, and that includes not just residential, the homes, the condos, the townhouses, the places people live, as well as rentals for apartments and whatnot, but also commercial properties. Those are going to be your larger multifamily properties because that's more of a business rather than just a single home unit. So that's more the commercial space, as well as strip plazas, shopping malls, all of that. That's commercial real estate. You have industrial real estate, which is going to be your warehouses, the ports, the stuff that's around the airport, fertilizer plants, manufacturing, all of that stuff. That's all industrial real estate. They all need land. I remember specifically in one of my live classes, I actually had a student that was going to work, I don't remember which power company, which utility company. It was an electric company. I don't think it was Tampa Electric. It might have been, though. And she was getting her real estate license because she is basically getting a job with them to negotiate easements. You learn about easements in your pre-licensing course. That's the portion of the land that is granted for usage to utility companies in certain circumstances. That's called an easement in gross. You learn about that in your pre-licensing course. And so it could be as niche and specific as that. I had another one of my students previously. She actually worked in World of Beer. And she was actually in the real estate division of basically expanding their operations and whatnot. And she was able to get basically a promotion, a pay raise by getting her real estate license. So there's a lot of corporate opportunities. There's home builders that you could work with. We had a student, David Cribbs. You probably have seen some of his videos on there. And he was in car sales, selling cars all his life, and he wanted more. And he got his real estate license and went on to make 6 figures in his first year of real estate. And that was in a completely different, that wasn't in like a boom market. That wasn't a slow market. That was quite a few years ago where average days on market was 30 days plus, probably similar to where the market it is that we're in now. And he was able to make over $100,000 a year in his first year of business. And we've had success stories go on to make even more than that. We'll have people that'll go on and not want to actually practice real estate, but maybe you're just going to work in a referral capacity. You're using your real estate license to make connections between people who want to buy or sell real estate, whatever type of real estate, pretty much anywhere, because Florida allows you to earn referral fees from anywhere. It's just a question of as long as that's legal wherever, but I've yet to find any place where that's not legal. So you could earn a referral fee from pretty much anywhere in the world just by connecting that person that you know, that you've made contact with, that you connected with, that lead that you generated maybe, whatever this person is to you, and you could sell that lead, that referral, to an agent who actually practices real estate. But the way you sell it for the most money really is not selling up front like, hey, I'll give you this lead here for $100, $200, $300. That person might say, well, that's pretty expensive for this lead. How about I give you this lead for 25%? Well, what's that mean? Well, that means out of the commission, 25% of that will go to my referral brokerage, which will then be paid to me in exchange for the referral of this contact who is ready to buy, ready to sell, whatever they may be. And you might think this sounds crazy, but this happens all the time. I actually had one of the agents in my office sign one of these agreements at 50%. So they took a referral, they wanted additional business, they were hungry for it, and it was a big deal. It was over $1 million sale, so the commission, I'm pretty sure it was a 3% commission, so that would have been over $30,000 in gross commission. So ultimately, that lead was sold for about $15,000, let's call it. Because $1 million, 3%, that's $30,000. And so half of that is $15,000. That was the referral fee on that deal. Just for making the connection. Now, this person was pretty much turnkey, ready to go, easy deal. And not every single one of these leads will always close. But when it is an actual lead, that's a real lead that somebody's talked to, that somebody has a relationship with, especially, that you're able to make a professional referral and connection to another professional who knows what they're doing, That could be a great way to get started in real estate. And so when it comes to joining a real estate broker, what is the right broker to join? Or maybe you do want to go work with a builder or with a property manager. There's, again, so many different opportunities. And we're actually, again, doing everything we can right now to get those all pulled in and cataloged together in one place, so that way our students, as well as potential students, could go through and browse all these different opportunities that exist that are looking for qualified real estate professionals. And maybe that level of qualification is just getting a real estate license, or maybe there is an assistant posting on there, an assistant opportunity to where you don't have your license yet, maybe you're in the process of getting it, and maybe you're looking for an agent to hire you as an unlicensed assistant. Maybe you're growing a team and you're looking for listing agents, buyer's agents, you're looking for agents to hold open houses, you're looking for inside sales agents, whatever it may be. There's, again, so many opportunities that exist out there, but a lot of these opportunities can't pay big unless you have a real estate license. So that referral opportunity I talked to you about, that $15,000 referral, that would be a third-degree felony if everyone wasn't licensed actively in that scenario. Not just the agent doing the deal, but also the person earning the referral fee. So Florida law does require for you to legally earn a real estate referral fee that you must have an active real estate license, which means that you must be registered with a referral real estate brokerage. Now, the benefit of joining a referral brokerage versus a full-service brokerage is not having to join the Association of Realtors and pay for board fees and MLS dues and all those other costs that you would typically pay when you are the agent actually running the full business there. But maybe you are the agent on the receiving end of that referral there. That $15,000 that you're getting is a lead that you got from no money down. So referrals are your best way to get your no money down leads, because those are leads where you're not having to spend money. Because especially when you're starting out, if you're spending money on leads, that money is going to burn up so quickly. Because you're going to be new, you're still figuring things out, you won't call back people fast enough, you won't sound confident enough. So you want to speed through that ugliness as quickly as you potentially can. And that's where, again, having a good foundation, having laid a framework with something like your post-licensing course. So this is your renewal that will send your whole plan, your whole map, your whole everything, your whole world crashing down on you on midnight of your renewal deadline if you did not complete the hours for this course, as well as pass the end of course exam with at least a 75%. There is no state exam, but you lose your real estate license if you don't get this done. And so if you're like me and most real estate agents, you maybe don't do this right away because you don't have someone like the me now, like the me today, saying, hey, take this as soon as you potentially can. And to get credit for this, you just have to have your license. Technically, you can take this before you get your license, but you won't get credit for it. You'll have to do it again once you do get your license. So just get your license first. And then as soon as you've got your real estate license, you could start that same day in our video on demand post-licensing program. Maybe you want to give yourself the night to celebrate, and then next day, day one, morning of, you're now digging in to business planning, to the more real-world side of real estate that you're learning with this. And so like I said earlier, we've got something called the Complete Jumpstart Bundle that's designed to help you expedite this, because you don't start making money. I don't know, let's put another triangle in there. There we go. So you don't start making money until you get to at least here. That's where you can now start earning money because your license is active. But one thing we kind of did leave out here that is a big part of this, that isn't necessarily a prerequisite, but for making money it is. And that's actually having a sale, either directly a sale that you made or a referral that you made that is then being closed by whatever agent you referred that to. So the sale is going to be very important. And again, you can't get to actually making money to getting a sale until you join a broker. And you can't do that until you pass your, not only your course exam, but also the state exam. And so for the state exam, that's where our little workbook comes in. Now this is only about 120 pages versus 500 pages. So this is much more to the point, just about what you need to know. It's literally the 20% of the information that's in this book here, because 500 pages versus 100, that's literally 20%. So this is 20% of the information, but this 20% comprises about 80% of your exam. And matter of fact, we probably touch on almost everything that's going to be on your exam just in this weekend prep recording, the exam cram videos. There's also a question simulator to be able to mock the state exam. There's an audio review, which is even more condensed. That's only a 5-hour review versus the videos are about 14 hours of videos of content that you're going through there. And you have hundreds of questions in the simulator, as well as a whole 2 to 3 hour, probably about 3 hour, I'd call it, series of tips and tricks for this exam specifically. That's all in our Pass First Try exam prep tools. They include this printed workbook. And so when you bundle the course, because this is a requirement by the state to get your license, so you bundle that with the exam prep tools and with your renewal requirement, which again, you could start this as soon as you get your real estate license, and why you want to do that, it's going to help expedite the process to the sale. So this complete Jumpstart bundle here, these 3 books, we won't send you the post-licensing until you get licensed, so that way, in case there's a new version of this, you get the latest version of it here. But we're going to send you this out. You go through, power through that exam, get through this process as quickly as possible, and maybe before you're joining the broker, maybe that's where you're taking your post-licensing. Because maybe you're not sure whether you want to do commercial or industrial, agricultural, or businesses, or maybe you do know you want to do residential, but you don't know if you're going to be equipped to be at 100% brokerage, or you have to do something with a split, or if you should join a team first, or all of those questions will become much more clear to you what the answers for you and your goals are, of what ultimately that number may be that you want to get to. That will all become much more clear when you do this post-licensing course, because again, you're doing the business planning. You're learning, as opposed to the elements of a contract, you're learning how to present that. So much more like soft skills, people type of skills, and as they specifically relate to real estate. You, again, might be like me when I got started, where I thought I knew everything about dealing with people and customer service and sales and marketing. I was a big know-it-all. There's quite a few of them in the real estate industry. That's okay, because if you do actually know it all, if you're on a quest to know it all, your knowledge can again give you that longer lever. That longer lever. Everyone wants a longer lever. That longer lever is going to give you more power to the time that you spent to multiply your output, to where that 1 hour you spend of work might give you the equivalent of 30 hours in this type of teeter-totter employee type of system that you might have been at some point in your life. Maybe you still find yourself in that position today. So again, it's about creating more leverage. It's about giving yourself a longer lever, and you have to put yourself in the position. You have to get in the right position for that, which again, maybe that includes getting your real estate license, but not just signing up for the course and saying you signed up and then 10 months go by and you haven't even logged into it yet, but signing up for this, getting in there and knocking this out. Maybe not in 7 days, maybe not trying to max it out and do it literally as fast as you can, but maybe 30 days. 30 days is a very reasonable time to get this done. 60 days, you only need to spend an hour a day to get this course done in 60 days. And that's still a very reasonable amount of time. And the faster you get this done, the less you'll need to worry about studying. The longer this takes you, the more effort you'll have to put in of trying to remember this information, whereas the faster you go through it, the easier it'll be to remember. So very important you speed through this as quickly as possible, but don't just go into trying to sell real estate blind, having no idea what you're doing, trying to fake it until you make it. Look, there's a little bit of having confidence and being able to work through things that you're not sure about in the real world, but at the end of the day, you need to have a roadmap. You need to have a framework. You need to have a general idea of what you should be doing every day to get to that goal, to get to that next step, to get to that next stage, because ultimately your individual process is going to look much more detailed than this. There's going to be much more stepping stones along the way of you moving through this process as you zoom in on this closer. The key is not to get hung up on any one step here and to continue moving up and elevating yourself through this process and increasing what it is that you want to be able to do. Maybe you don't want to open a brokerage. Maybe you're fine being a team leader, but maybe you do want to be able to grow your team. Because if you're not continually expanding, there could be external factors like market shifts that could be detrimental to businesses that are not in expansion. And that's one of the great things about real estate is, especially when you're brand new to it, it's almost all up. It's almost all expansion. You go from selling nothing to selling one home. Oh, wow, that's huge. That's such a huge milestone. And then every one you do on top of that is just building upon that more. It's building upon your knowledge. It's building upon your expertise. It's helping you develop a better, longer lever that's going to help you succeed further, to be able to get more out of the effort that you put in. But that doesn't happen, again, just getting hung up in the licensing process. So don't let that hold you back. Now, again, these exam prep tools are optional. Not every student needs these exam prep tools to pass the state exam. All the information you'll need to know is in the pre-licensing course. The question is, though, it's just which information. And we do give you highlights, there's questions, there's key terms, and all of that there. But there's also a lot of extraneous details that is good to know, but maybe not as important for your exam. So getting just down to the highlights here, when you bundle this together, that's gonna get you the best savings. And I mean, it's almost for free when you add in the post-licensing to this here. So that's where you could really save the most money, is adding in that post-licensing, because when you're committed to this in advance, we find that students are gonna be, our students are more successful and get to that post-licensing stage faster when they've paid for that in advance. Because you've already paid for something, well, you want to go take it. You understand the value, obviously. That's why you paid for it in advance. And so that gives you the motivation. That gives you the foresight down the road that, hey, look, we got to keep going. Look, there's still, yeah, there's a rest stop right here, but we don't want to stop at that rest stop. We want to go to this one way here because we want to get a little bit farther, a little bit faster. And that's what the exam prep will help you do. It's optional, but it's there to help compress time. And to, again, further compress time, don't wait until your renewal deadline to do this post-licensing. Do it as soon as you get your license, because there's going to be so much eye-opening information that that you wished probably was in your pre-licensing course. The information that's in this post-licensing course, again, much more relatable, much more real-world, much more kind of soft skills and actually business knowledge, as opposed to laws and rules that the Florida Real Estate Commission wants to make sure you know first and foremost before they trust you with a real estate license. But look, that's about all the time we've got for today. So I want to thank you for joining us for this special live edition of Ask the Instructor. If you want to see us again here live publicly next week, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit follow, and we might just be back for you publicly live. And if you want to guarantee that you'll be in here, if you get the Pass First Try bundle, that includes the Ask the Instructor. So not only will you be able to get today's recording, but also all of the past recordings, stuff about the NAR Burnett Sitzer settlement, things about the homestead exemption updates, all this need to know updates and changes. We cover all of that. We're here every week, every single Wednesday. So again, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I'd love to be back with you guys live next week. But until then, have yourself a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you next Wednesday for Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number one thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're gonna have to do it anyways, but here's why you wanna do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're gonna learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com. Have you been thinking about getting your Florida real estate license? Look, the process is probably easier than you think. We break it down step by step, how much it's going to cost, what it is that you need to do to get your Florida real estate license. Find out all of that and more at licensefl.com. Again, that's licensefl.com.